Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hope. My name is Tammy Lynn Connors. This is my YouTube channel and podcast, helping other people evolve. Today, I have my new friend, Ricky, on here. How are you today, Ricky?
Doing great. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Great. And you're down in South Carolina, right?
I'm in the big state of South Carolina.
Nice. How's the weather down there today?
You know, it's kind of chilly now. We had some warm weather, but now I guess the cold weather wanted to come out for a little while. So
yeah, that's what we had today. I went out today and it was sunny and I was like, okay. And I didn't grab my coat. It was 21 degrees. I was like, oh my goodness. So
yeah.
we're enjoying February weather in March is what we're doing right now. So a little different. But so everybody that knows I always come across people, God puts them in my life, it's funny how that happens. So I was on TikTok and I've had many people on here from TikTok that I've met Ricky. It's kind of cool. So I came across Ricky because he likes to dance. He's a coach and I came across his TikTok. It was like the dancing motivational coach or something like that. And I was like, oh, look at this guy. He's so fun. And then I ended up doing a duet with him. And then I messaged him about being on Hope. And so what my vision and mission with Hope is just to help people know that they don't struggle alone. Let people know that there is hope out there, that you can get up and go fight your day, whatever your battle is. And we hear different stories. Not all people go through struggles, but most people do, and they get to a strength. There's people out here that are out here inspiring people and helping people to get through their days. And Ricky is one of those people. Like, this man is an inspiration to so many. And then he's also a coach at Clemson, correct?
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. So he's a football coach at Clemson. And I love watching your videos because some of them you're just dancing and I see the players or whoever walking through just looking at you like, dude, what are you doing? So I guess let's just go with, like who Ricky is, why you've decided to, do your motivational speaking and the things that you do.
Well, I'm from a big city called Bamberg right here in South Carolina. And, I had the opportunity to go play football at Clemson. So I played at Clemson, then I played 5 years in the NFL. And then when I was coming out of the NFL, that's kind of when I was kind of depressed. I was depressed and down. I had some real bad anxiety for about 2 years. And then I figured out my purpose shortly after that at this high school called North Myrtle Beach High School. And my purpose was to work with kids and encourage kids. So, I got into training kids, and then I got into, somebody talked me into being a substitute teacher. And then I coached high school football. My son moved down with me, and I got into coaching, and that's kind of how I got into working with kids and coaching. And then the whole dancing thing came about. I just always liked to dance. So one morning, one of my friends posted me dancing. Everybody loved it. And I was like, all right, well, I'll post it every Monday. And then I knew that I had to be able to connect with kids. As a leader, I know you got to be able to speak to them on their level. You got to, what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? I'm going to dance. So I went in and I wore a shirt that said Dancing for Smiles. And on the back, it said, at the time, the dance and substitute teacher. So I would do dance battle with the kids, and they loved it. But they didn't know. Little did they know was that I was doing that to just grab their attention. And when I did that, I was like, I got y'all now. So that's kind of short story how I kind of got into being the dance and substitute teacher, and then now it's the dance and weight room coach. But for life, it'll be the dance and motivational speaker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you were in the NFL, you said, for 5 years?
5 years. Yeah, 5 years.
Okay. And then when you got out of there, you said then a little bit of depression and stuff started.
Yeah. Yep. I sure did. Yep.
So with that anxiety, I'm a big mental health person. Like, I'm really big on mental health. I think it's so important. And I really, especially mental health in men. And I always say, I think it's probably because I had boys. So I feel like with my son, it's just been really a big thing for me, like making sure that his mental health is good, and letting him know that it's okay to reach out for help. It's okay, to feel these ways and feel your feelings. So when you discovered that you were having depression and things, did you go seek counseling or anything like that?
Well, rewind back,
Okay.
I started having I started having mental and health issues in college,
Okay.
but didn't give it attention.
Mm,
I knew something was a little different,
yeah.
the way I would think and some of the things I would think about. And I would throw up before games, and my coaches thought it was, I was just hype and excited, but
Mhm.
what we found out that it was anxiety. So in college, they got me to talk to a therapist, but of course, college kid, I only told them what
Right.
I wanted. So I went through college with that, and then when I got in NFL, it got worse. I started to really, really throw up a lot and have thoughts and struggle with sleeping a lot. Um, and then when I got to the New York Jets, that's when Rex Ryan was like, look, we want to sign you, but I'm not signing you unless you talk to our therapist. And
Okay.
like, depending on depending on how that conversation goes, then we'll talk about it. So I was like, oh crap, I got to tell the truth. So I talked to this therapist and told the truth, and it felt amazing. And that's when I figured out, that's when I finally gave my anxiety and depression, my mental health energy, and I figured out what was going on. So
Mhm.
I knew about it a long time ago, but now I'm very aware of it, and know
Yeah.
what yeah.
Yeah. And so talking to someone really does help. I know people are like, and the thing is that I'm a big advocate for counseling and things like that, because those people, they're just there to listen really and give you some tools to use. But if you can actually talk to somebody with no judgment, anything like that, they're not looking at you in any certain way. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, of course. I think for me, nobody talked about that back then. Nobody talked about it. There wasn't a space for it. And, nowadays, I'll just be honest with you, people say they want men to talk about it, but when we talk about it, it's like, oh, don't be soft. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, what do you want us to do? So
Right.
that's why I talk about it as much as I can on my podcast. And I talk about it when I go speak, because people need to know that it's okay, it's okay to talk about it.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah, because
yeah.
that's the thing. Like you said, even nowadays, even when there's so much out there, and then you're like, well, blah, 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 and then somebody's like, really? Oh, you're that soft or whatever, right? Oh, you were puking because of anxiety. You know what I mean? Like they try
Yeah.
to like diminish it a little bit. And I'm happy that when I hear people say that they're talking about it, and especially with you working with youth, because that's when it all starts, with the kids thinking that they can't talk about it, you
Oh, yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Oh, now, do you go to different schools and speech? Is that what you do?
Yeah, so I go anywhere I can. I go to schools. I've did some events with kids. I've been to churches and spoke to kids. I also have a message for adults as well, but my audience is kids. So,
Mhm.
yep.
That's awesome. And I'm sure you get that message from maybe a parent or a kid, just like, wow, that really, really helped me, you know?
Yeah, yeah. When I got into motivational speaking, first before that, I took speech class all the way up until I got in, I think, middle school.
Okay,
So public speaking wasn't nothing I was trying to do. I
okay.
hated it at Clemson when I took it. But I started listening to Eric Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
listening to Ray Lewis and Brian Dawkins and other motivational speakers. And I can remember just thinking about it nonstop, like, man, I would say this like that. I would say this. I was like, man, I would say this. And I knew in my mind, I was like, we thinking about this for a reason. Like, so I ended up, I spoke to the North Myrtle Beach High School, and then I worked there for a year as a volunteer coach. I figured out my purpose there. That's where I fell in love with kids, at that school. But then later after that, someone walked up to me and was like, hey, and I knew this person. He was like, hey, we lost our speaker for FCA out of middle school. And I'm like, why are you telling me? Why are you telling
Right.
me? It's like, would you step in? I was like, all right, sure. So
Yeah,
it didn't. I promise you, after that, I got asked to speak like every day after that. It's just
yeah.
like, it's almost like God was like, here you go. And so, yeah.
Right. And
It's
that's the
like,
thing, like you said, with God, like, so then you found your purpose and what your mission is, and then God's going to be like, yes, let's do this. You're doing what your purpose is. And I believe with my heart and soul that we all have a purpose on this planet Earth.
oh, without
And
doubt.
we all have a gift, and trying to figure that out. And when we do, you know, it's like, it just goes, you know, and I believe that all of us have a purpose to serve, and what you're doing is definitely a service. And I think it's the best for me too, because when I talk about mental health and mental health, but I also really focus on teenagers also, because I remember what it was like when I was a teenager, you know, growing up, and all the things I went through, and I didn't have anybody to talk to and all of that. You know, I think though the kids look at me when I'm talking to them like, oh, okay, old lady. Like, you know, you don't have, and but I always think that, and I don't know if you feel this way too, Ricky, but you know, you plant those seeds, you know, and it doesn't mean that they're going to get it right away, but one day they could be doing something and be like, oh, I remember Miss Tammy telling me that, or I remember Mr. Ricky telling me that, you know, and remembering that, and
Yeah.
that's that you planted down the road, you know.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, yeah, I always tell people, kids, they don't listen to us, but
Right.
everything they see, you know,
Yeah.
without they do it. So that's why it's important to make sure we're doing the right things when they're around.
Yeah, exactly. And I love the fact that you added dancing into it, because my thing that I always say is, I have friends that, you know, I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I used to only dance when I drank. And then when I quit drinking, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I love dancing. How am I going to dance now? And then one day I was like, who cares? You just dance for you know? And so my big thing now is just dance like nobody's watching, you know? And I've had friends that used to have 3 or 4 drinks before they would dance. And now they'll actually get on the dance floor with me without any, you know, and just be free with it. And I think you displaying that is such a big thing for anybody to see. Like, it's okay to dance and have fun, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. But I love that you do that.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's crazy how it got started. I mean, I was literally just, you know, I would always dance in the weight room when I was working out, and one of my friends recorded it one morning. I posted it, and people loved it, and I was like, okay, all right. So, and I didn't care, you know, people. I just only did it to make people laugh, you
Right.
know, and give me energy. I got a lot of energy, a lot of
Yeah.
energy. So, so, so yeah, I got into dancing, and got the shirt made, and whenever I would go to a new school, I would just ask the kids, I was like, yo, who can dance?
Right.
And then I would have dance battles, and then I would post the videos online, and the kids, you know, the kids love social media, and
Sure.
of course I got beat. I've never beaten a kid in a dance battle. so so of course when I took this job, I was like, I'm not going to change just because they're big college kids. So
Right.
they think I'm crazy as crap. They go crazy because when I got here and started doing it, it was like, who is this dude? And there's no way he's going to be able to do that for a long time. Well, here we are in year, I'm still doing it. And when I post those videos, people always ask me like, do they not see you dancing? They don't care. Like, what's the story? I like, they're used to it. And they just, it
They just
doesn't.
walk on by. I know. I was watching some of them, and I was cracking up. And once in a while, you'd see somebody go like, and just
Yeah.
shake their head. But you
Yeah,
know
man.
what? A lot of times people are looking at us like that, but they're like, man, I wish I could do that. I wish I was brave enough to do that. You know?
Hey, they're too cool for school, but they are just so used to it. So it don't phase them.
Right.
They don't
Yeah.
phase.
Now, do you teach at Clemson too then?
No. I'm one of the strength and conditioning coaches. So
Oh, okay.
yep, I played at Clemson in '06 to '09. And then last year in January, Coach Sweeney, who was the head coach now, he gave me the opportunity to come back. So I work in the weight room, and I train the long snappers and kickers right now. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Fun. That's awesome.
So
Right.
I'm the juice man.
The what man?
I'm the juice man.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
energy.
Gotcha. And I hear you talking like there's a shake company there, right? In South Carolina, has a shake named after you.
Smoothie King. Yeah. Smoothie
Mhm.
King. So there's actually two now in Myrtle Beach. So how that, long story short with that, I was training kids, and this guy by the name of Travis would walk by, and he would watch, and we would talk every now and then. If you see my videos, I'm loud, and I scream and shout, and I'm always dancing and stuff like that. So people in the gym would stop and watch and be like, "Who is this dude?" Like, so
Right.
because
Right.
you see me with kids, I'm screaming and shouting at them, So when I was training kids, he would stop by and talk every now and then fast forward, I think 2 years later, out of the blue, he hit me up and was like, "Hey man, me and my wife took over the Smoothie King with the general managers. I would love for you to be an influencer." He's like, "I remember you. You were so passionate with working with kids, and I would love for you to be an influencer." So I was like, I'll be honest with you, I was like, "Nah, I'm good." So,
Right.
but just so happened I was working with this lady, and she was doing some marketing stuff for me, and she was like, "Are you stupid? Like, why wouldn't you do that?" So I took the opportunity, and it has been truly amazing, man. So I am an influencer of a Smoothie King, and they gave me the opportunity to have my own smoothie, and it's called the King Ricky Smoothie. Yep,
Yeah. Well,
yep,
when I go down to Myrtle Beach, I'm gonna have one because I saw the comments when you were doing your live the other day and people were like, they're so good.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I know you have a podcast also, right? That you do on Tuesdays?
I do. My podcast is called Talk to Me Tuesday.
Okay, talk to me too. Now, yeah, today you're interviewing one of your players, I think you said. You're supposed
Yeah,
to, yeah.
yep. One of the guys that I train actually. Yep, yep.
Okay, awesome. Now, are you on Apple, Spotify, all of the platforms?
My podcast is on everything. It's on all.
Okay.
It's on Spotify. Yep,
Do you have a YouTube channel too?
I do. I do have a
Okay,
YouTube channel. Yep,
awesome. So what
yep.
I'll do is I'll end up putting you down, put all everybody on here. I'll just put the links, in everything, so that way you can find Ricky. I know you mentioned Eric Thomas, and I love Eric Thomas. He actually went to Michigan State here.
Yeah,
And so I think it was 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, time goes so quick, but he was speaking, he would come every Monday and speak
yeah,
at
yeah,
Michigan State for free.
yeah.
So my friend Courtney and I, man, I knew he was coming. We jumped in our car and went up there and listened to him. And yeah, he's just such a great motivational speaker, and just another, showing of you can do anything you put your mind to, and that's huge. And for you, like you said, with your depression and anxiety and the mental health, and instead of just laying around and being like, well, this is my life, instead you took it and turned it around and figured out the best way to deal with it and to help others with it. And
Oh yeah,
that's what it's all about, I think.
oh yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that's why God always puts like amazing people in my life, because he's like, oh, you need to hear this story. You need to hear this one. And your audience needs to hear this story, and it's just stories of hope. Like I say, we all go through things, life isn't easy. Some people are like, oh, well, Tammy, your life's rainbows and unicorns. And I'm like, no,
yeah,
you just think it's rainbows and unicorns, but I'll tell you the real stuff. I don't hide it. And I just think that us sharing, Trent Shelton, he's a motivational speaker. I don't know if you know who he is or not, but
yeah.
he says our transformation will lead, our transparency will lead to someone else's transformation. You know,
Amen.
that's the truth, and that's why I decided to do Hope and, meet great people like you. Like I said at the beginning, you're my new friend and you're stuck with me forever now.
Well, it's well. First, I think I agree. I think that people need to hear that there are people that's going through some of the same things they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
I think the world definitely needs hope, and it
Yeah.
needs somebody that's not afraid to spread good energy and hope. Funny you say that. You say I'm stuck with you. So whenever I meet kids, coach kids, I always tell them, I say, you are stuck with me for life. And man, oh man, I won't get emotional, but it's just crazy because when I tell kids that, a lot of them be like, I don't believe that. They don't believe that. And what kind of really hit me is when I got here and told the kids that, and it was like, nah, we had a coach before. I texted him when he left and he didn't respond back. And I was like, I looked him in the face and I said, you are stuck with me for life.
Mm.
You get married, or you have kids, you're going to tell your wife and kids about this tall, black, bald-headed guy that used to scream and shout at you, and they used to tell you I love you and you're stuck with me for life. So I
Mm,
tell them all the time. And when I reach out to them a year, 2 years later, they'll be like, man, I am
yeah,
like, so,
right.
so I love that you say that. I love that you say that.
Yeah,
That's all.
that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome that you do that too, because
Oh
that
yeah.
does happen in life, right? You know, people are like, oh, I'll be your friend, or I'll be whatever, there for you forever. And then, like you said, then you message them and they never message you back. And you're like, what happened to, but I guess people do come and people go, but you're a man of your word. So that's powerful. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so this has been a great conversation. I love doing these. I always tell people, in a few months or a year or whatever, we check back and check in on Ricky and see how everything's going. Now, everybody's going to see some duet videos for sure, because I already did one the other day. I was like, oh, I need to dance to that song. So a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And I will get down to Myrtle Beach and meet you someday too, because like I said, my niece lives down there, so I need to get down there and visit her anyway, so.
Or come to Clemson. You should come to Clemson.
Oh, Clemson, yeah, yeah. Actually, my friend's daughter goes to Clemson, so there
There
we
you
go.
go.
Yep, yep. So is there any like last words you want to say to anybody or anything, like any inspirational? Oh, you did say something, and if you can remember what you said on your video Sunday, and it was something about taking life for granted, basically, but it was,
I said that time is what we disrespect the most until we need it.
yes, yes. That was huge when you said that, because
Yeah.
it's so true. I was just today talking to a friend, and I kind of posted the same thing yesterday. Like, it's so valuable, and we just waste it. Another friend of mine just posted the other day too. Either you could have, if somebody told you could have $10 million tonight,
Saw that. Yeah.
life tomorrow, what would you choose? And most people would pick their life tomorrow, because you want to wake up tomorrow, and $10 million doesn't mean anything if you don't wake up. But we don't treat every day like that. Like, every day is such a gift for us. And when you said that, I was like, wow, that's so powerful. And you live your life, the days, the best that you can. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We don't know what 6 months is going to bring. So, you just try to live your best life that day, and don't abuse it. Don't abuse it.
Yeah. It all starts here with the
Yeah.
mindset and the.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. That was something else that I was just talking to somebody about. Like, I don't know how I got through so many years of my life without mindset. I tell you, because now I'm such a big advocate of, self-development and mindset and the positivity and gratitude and all of that every day. And it will change your life. People look and they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, no, seriously, if you wake up every day, you opened your eyes, then you got something to be grateful for, and if you turn your sentences around, like, you don't say, oh, I gotta go coach these kids. Instead, you're like, I get to go coach these kids, right? I get to help motivate these kids. I get to dance and have them look at me weird. And you turn that around, all of the negative, and your life will change, for sure, for sure. So awesome. Well, Ricky, I appreciate you getting on H.O.P.E. I hope that you have an amazing day. And everybody, I just want to thank you all for getting on H.O.P.E. I appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, I'm on Apple, Spotify, Audible. I have a YouTube channel. I'll put the links to all Ricky's things on here. And then you guys, if you're teachers at schools or anything and you need somebody to come in and talk to the kids, I guess this is your guy right here. So, all right. Well, listen, you have a great day, Ricky, and everybody else have an amazing day also. Thanks.